Our next award is the Alumni Excellence Award, and that too is given annually up to 5 alumni members who demonstrate excellence in one or more walks of life. This includes, but is not limited to, business, law, medicine, media studies, athletics, both high school, college, and professional, the arts, education, and service to the community or church. This year we have several recipients, so I'd like to call upon Jim Apino to introduce Steve Casper.
Good evening, everyone. It's my honor to introduce Steve Casper for this award. I'd like to share a story of Steve's first contribution to Boylan High School. It came in 1983 and 84, his senior year, basketball. That was a special year in basketball. It kicked off, you can't, it's right-handed, I'm sorry. Where was I? So, that year, Coach, you'll like this, that started 30 years of basketball excellence here at Boylan. That team went 27-1. And featured a front line that went 6'5", 6'6", 6'7", with 2 All-Staters that went to play Division I basketball. Now, Steve has come from being a 5'9", 130-pound freshman, struggling to make the team, to now a 6'5" senior, weighing maybe $150. His job was to guard that front line and to battle those guys every day. It was a tough role. He wasn't going to see a lot of minutes in the games, but he knew they had to work twice as hard to make himself better, to make those guys better, and he did it. And he took a beating, he gave it right back, and he loved it. That's the thing about Steve. He loved the competition, the challenge, and he knew it was what was best for the team, and he did all he could. He still competes today, and he plays basketball 4 days a week. He's run marathons, triathlons. He has retired from competitive rugby every year for the last 25 years. I'm pretty sure he'll play again next week. I tell you this because it really speaks to Steve's character. He is just a tireless worker, and it's made him very successful in his career and in his community. So, you know, it's that selfless commitment to the greater good and the sense of humor has led him to have a great career. His success at Woodward Governor goes on past 24 years in various leadership capacities. He sits on the board for the Rockford YMCA, as well as the Boys and Girls Club of Rockford. He's a big part of the Transform Rockford movement as a facilitator and organizer. So he gets involved. Some of his biggest contributions have come with our youth. Over the last 20 years, Steve has coached in the parochial system and the boys club and for Wildcat Club basketball. Sharing that passion for sport and that understanding of individual effort and team concept has made a big impact on them. In fact, when the Junior Titan football team needed a coach, Steve stepped in. Coach football. Coached for 4 years, brought them a championship. So it's that Steve has that quality, that why not me quality, and a genuine desire to help those in need. That quality is shared and often surpassed by his beautiful wife Cindy. So between the two of them, they help out so many. This award shines a spotlight on a guy that tries pretty hard to avoid it, but is so deserving of it. So I'm proud to present this award to you. We recognize Steve Casper as a great example of Boylan alumni excellence.
Thank you, Jim. It really is an honor to be here. I take more pride. It's a beautiful award, but more the association, the connection, the ability to come to an event like this and be with all these great people. I'm humbled to be awarded. It's great that I get to have one of my best friends in the world present it. Jim, thanks for being short. I mean for being brief. Sorry about that, but I'll keep this short, I promise. I really do believe it's about friends and connections, and that's what Boylan's about. And something I learned from, I think a lot of us in here learned, a simple concept in the religion classes that they talked about church. And church, the definition of it is kind of a trick question, I think, to try to get people that church wasn't necessarily a building and pews and bricks and mortar. It was people. It was the connections and the element of a community. That's what church really meant. Yeah, there was a church and a mass and a ceremony, but it was the connections and everything you had. And I take great pride in just being connected to a group like this. I have been very fortunate. I'll quote a few people in the speech. My mother first. She'll be the one that stole the quote that it's always better to be lucky than good, and I was pretty Irish through my life. My spin on a lot of the things that Jim talked about is a little different than his, that I was always lucky and fortunate and in the right place, and it was a lot more luck than skill at times. But I have some friends here, Joan and Sharon from our class. It's great that we're still connected, that people are still connected. We laugh about our 30th is this year, and we laugh about should we go. We still hang out anyways. Why would we go to see the people we see all the time? So that concept is there. And as I said, I was very fortunate. My parents, Steve and Liz, were very great to us in terms of providing a Catholic home and Catholic education, and I thank you for that. That was unbelievable. It's lucky I didn't get to pick that. It was given to me, and I really did want it, and I valued it. In fact, to the point that when I did meet my beautiful wife, Cindy, who, again, I was lucky. Anybody that's met her knows I married up, and anybody who knew me back then would say it even more. So I was lucky enough then that the only smart thing I did then, other than falling into that line, was say, if we're lucky enough, our kids will, again, go to a Catholic school. That's in my terrible state, that was my only prenuptial, and thank God it worked out, and they did. And so both my kids graduated in the last few years. They're in college now, and I'll tell one teacher story. Mademoiselle had me way back when, and she tells stories that I was in a senior class of 27 girls and one guy, and how smart that was. Most people, you don't really plan that, though. That's just how it works out. And she tells that I was very successful with ladies and very successful with basketball, and I don't think she quite remembers how things went that many years ago. But the best part was she told that story many years later when my daughter Gwen was in her class to embarrass the heck out of her, and I couldn't have thanked her more for doing that. I appreciate that. She deserved that. So, yeah, my kids, Sven and Gwen, both graduate here. They're experiencing the same value. They actually hang out with friends like the Custers of mine, their children. Again, that connectedness, that good fortune, that position is great. My spin on the basketball is a little different. The only thing I remember from Mr. Goers that I tell a lot of people is he had a quote for me that was, "Son, the world needs role players, and Lord knows you're one of them." So I do thank Mr. Goers, Coach Goers, for everything I learned from him. I do have a passion for basketball. I don't have a lot of skill, but I had a lot of passion, and I tried really hard. But again, the connectedness, I agree with what Jim said. I've coached a lot of people. In fact, it's embarrassing now how many people from coaching them when they were younger 20 years ago walk up to you now and, "Hey, Coach, how you doing?" And I, for the life of me, have no idea who they are. I don't know. Happens frequently, but that connectedness, your coaching ability went through me and affected a lot of people in a lot of ways. And I do believe in the principles of Boylan and helping youth and the community organizations that Jim talked about. I believe those are very important. That's why I do them. And so I do agree with Jim's value system. It's a little different than the Boylan one, but God, country, family, Packers, White Sox, I believe in that. God bless. Thank you very much.